Evening, everybody. Jamie?
Be advised that proper notice has been given by the Township Council in accordance with the Sunshine Law in the following manner. Notice advertised in the Burlington County Times and Camden Courier Post on January 4th, 2019, and posted on the bulletin board on the same date. Mr. Lyon?
Here.
Mr. Romando?
Here.
Ms. Correa?
Here.
Mr. Burrell?
Here.
Mr. Ketchum?
Here. So we have a couple of items on the action meeting, and that would be starting with our resolutions. First is 2019-176. This is a resolution approving the person-to-person and place-to-place transfer of plenary retail consumption license from Grayling Corporation to Crab du Jour of Delran, Inc.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Lyon?
Aye.
Mr. Romando?
Aye.
Ms. Correa?
Aye.
Mr. Burrell?
Aye.
Mr. Ketchum?
Aye. Next is Resolution 2019-187, and this is resolution requesting approval of items of revenue and appropriation in accordance with NJSA 40A 4-87 2019 drive sober or get pulled over.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Lyon?
Aye.
Mr. Romando?
Aye.
Ms. Correa?
Aye.
Mr. Burrell?
Aye.
Mr. Ketchum?
Aye. And one more resolution, 2019-188, is approving a bingo license number 2019-04 for Delran Fire Company number 1.
Motion. Second.
Mr. Lyon?
Aye.
Mr. Romando?
Aye.
Ms. Correa?
Aye.
Mr. Burrell?
Aye.
Mr. Ketchum?
Aye. Next, I need a motion authorizing the payment of bills, including all purchases made under the cooperative purchasing agreement.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Lyon?
Aye.
Mr. Romando?
Aye.
Ms. Correa?
Aye.
Mr. Burrell?
Aye.
Mr. Ketchum?
Aye. Went very fast. All right, so we have a couple of, we have a short agenda right now, which, sorry about saying that, because I know that's the kiss of death. That means we'll be here for hours. But I couldn't help myself. So first is the general obligation bond sale report. Jeff is going to fill us in on that.
Yeah, just to report on the results of the bond. They did have the bond sale on October 2nd, and we did include all of the debt from this year. So all of our outstanding debt is in this bond for $11,742,000. We had 6 bids, and 2 of the bids were identical at 1.95681.2% hard wow. But 2 of them were identical, and they flipped the coin, and RBC Capital Markets won the bid. So everybody was pleased with the interest rate. It's under 2%. We're open for 2, and it's a little bit under 2. Very little under 2, but it's under 2.
Was it heads or tails that won? Very important.
I don't remember. We picked heads, right?
I think so.
Yeah, but I don't remember.
Oh, we got the pick.
We're in different rooms, and I don't know if they knew that, or they said pick heads or tails. Was it Peggy and me, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know. So I said heads. Thank God she said heads at the same time, but she could have said tails. Because we were doing a what's his name, conference call. I don't think they realized we were in different rooms at the time. But that was an excellent result. So.
Awesome. Okay, so we had some conversation at the last work session regarding the pedestrian crossing requested by a resident, which had an activation light. Involved a number of things, and we received a subsequent email. All of us should have discussing some of the pros and cons, and you know, I think we all agreed that it was something we should consider and put on the agenda for when we can actually take action one way or the other, and that would be in the spring when we do the budget. So I would ask that if anybody has any further questions, or we should just put it as something to consider for the next year's budget.
To reconfirm one of the questions that came up, one of the questions was, where are the other communities that had this in place? Did they have the same agreement? And they do. I had 2 of the communities actually send me their agreements, and they're identical to what we were looking at. And they were just under $15,000, because it was $15,000 was the estimate, and it was like 14-something. And the only drawback, towns seem to like the only drawback is the actual noise that's emitted. Is they said as soon as they went in, they had complaints and they had to turn them down. But I guess they have to come with some happy medium that they're loud enough for somebody who's visually impaired to be able to do that. So.
Great. Okay, next we have brief discussion of the high school students using the pole barn for the homecoming float. We've done this every year, I think, in the past, and I just wanted to get this on the record that if we're okay with that, or if anybody has an issue with that. No?
What's
Okay.
the liability issue there if, God forbid, someone got hurt? Are we covered for that? I assume?
We require an insurance certificate. We're waiting on this one. Seems that was the problem this year, why it was received so late, is I think every year it seems to change because it's a different class. And so it was late being requested, but we did indicate to them that they need to provide us with an insurance certificate. It's this week, so.
Naming the municipalities an additional insurance.
Yes, yeah, from the school board. It's supposed to come from the school.
That's primary concern. As long as we're named insured, then we're named dependent as well.
And they cordon off, basically it's the equipment garage out here, and they cordon off the area. They move the equipment, kind of push it back a little bit and cordon that off so the kids don't go back there. In the past, we've had good supervision from the parents in terms of keeping them controlled in those areas. I think the bigger problem comes in with is them walking along the roads to get to the fast food franchises.
Old days.
Been there. Was in there, it was before.
Been there.
Before they had paper. We used to use papyrus floats, but that was another story. So we're okay with that. We don't need to do anything to memorialize that, right? We've had just kind of a straw poll here.
We can do a motion vote, no need for a roll call. It's just a motion
Okay.
second to authorize.
So I need a motion to approve allowing high school students to use the pole barn for their homecoming float.
So,
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next, I don't know, is this who made the, who brought this to us? Was this you, Tyler? Was the
No,
Eagle Scout project?
He reached out to me and the mayor.
Okay.
I think he was here earlier. He came to a meeting a couple of months back, right? He's the same, yeah, and we directed him to talk to Jeff.
Okay. And he seems to have, and does anybody have any objection to this project with the take one, give one, take one for kind of a mini library thing? Did the Green Team do something like
We
that?
have one in the Conroe.
Conroe Park. No problems with that? Nobody leaving any kind of anything?
Not so far.
I've seen them in other towns, and they're tastefully done, they look really nice. I mean, I don't know if there's problems with them down the road, but it's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, cool.
So for council, I would only suggest, depending on the size of these structures, sounds like they're relatively small, but like the Gaga pit, unlike the Gaga pit, I don't think there are JIF concerns, but to the extent there may be, JIF would cover that. And those new structures being built, I would just run that by JIF, and then, again, depending on the way they're designed, I would just have Jim make sure that he's okay with the way they're, the blueprints for these structures that they're proposed. That's all.
Okay, so we'll do that, Jeff.
Yeah, and we'll also coordinate it with Public Works, make sure they put in place that, that works for them.
Right.
So this is,
And
are we to own these? We would.
We would own these.
Right, and are we doing anything prior to them being built to review what he's building, so he doesn't build a shed or, or a teeny time? Just so that we have some sort of a scope of how big it's going to be, that would probably be a good idea.
Yes.
And I don't know whether it requires us to have a review. Maybe Jeff, if they brought it to you or Public Works, and, unless it's out of what would be considered the norm.
As long as it's similar to what was already put in.
Yeah, I don't.
Conroe Park, you're okay with that?
Unless council wants to have a final look-see, I think it's fine. If it's she shed, then maybe you should bring it in. Maybe you should bring it to us, and we'll say, maybe it could be a little small.
Do you know, Jeff, where he plans to place them, or are we giving him?
He gave us those
He gave
three
us
parks,
Oh, okay.
Notre Dame, Princeton, and Jake's Place. So we'll take a look and see, make sure that we're comfortable with Public Works.
They're generally like oversized
Yeah.
birdhouses.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
they're on a pole, and they're usually about yay big by yay, but it only
And
puts
Jeff,
a
since
few
this
books
is
in
an
here.
Eagle Scout
Yeah,
project,
pretty cool.
are they gonna be supervised by an adult the whole time?
They have more regulations and.
Yeah.
Great.
The only thing.
Makes me happy to hear that.
Yeah, they're tough as scouts. I'm fine with the placements. The only thing I would suggest is there's Brown Street parking and things on the other side of the highway that I think could use some attention. You know, if you want to suggest that to him, I think they'll be appreciative of that.
Okay.
But otherwise, I have no,
Virginia mentioned that to me too.
Brown, I mean, Virginia probably,
Yeah.
with parks are used more often, but.
Okay.
Sounds good.
I'll bring that.
Okay. Well, that concludes our agenda for this evening. I'll ask Jamie if you have anything for us tonight. You have anything for us, Jeff?
No report.
No report.
No report.
Tyler?
No report.
Virginia? No report? Michael?
No report.
Okay, I have 8 things I'd like to talk about. Actually, I just wanted to say that Jake's Place has been getting some great coverage, and both on Facebook and the papers and stuff. And I think it's just it's a gold star for Delran, and it's great to have them here. And I had to deal with an issue with one of my jobs on Saturday and wasn't able to get to the firehouse, open houses. I don't know if anybody's able to do that, but it's, from what I've heard, it was a success and they had good turnout. So we congratulate them on that. Having said that, I'll ask for a motion to go into public.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We have anything from the large crowd that's gathered behind the camera?
Nope.
We have no from an individual person. So I'll ask for a motion to come out of public.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're adjourned.
Really fast for a work session.
That is.
Public meetings can be fast, but work sessions.
That may be a record.
That may be a record.
I keep saying, work's hard, not hard.